Good afternoon here from Roebling Raceway. It is the start of the 2025 Driverz Cup season. We are just about ready to go here. Cars are on grid, and I believe I just saw the 3-minute call, so we're going to be on track any moment now. Beautiful day out here. Last I checked, it is a nice, mostly sunny, a little bit of clouds out there, 78 degrees. So definitely been getting some heat into the track as we go on here. Some of the drivers were noting that it was getting a little greasy out there as the session went on during qualifying, but nothing that they are not equipped to handle. First time we are doing this, we are going to do our best to avoid any technical issues, but no promises. Going through this together, baby steps, seeing what we can put together. As you'll note, more cameras, timing, and scoring. We're going to work on all that stuff on the stream in the future. We're just limited to this one camera here for today. But we will see how far we can take this thing. Looks like a little bit more activity down there. Probably getting ready to make the one to go call on the grid. Let's go ahead and run through the lineup. This should be accurate. There's a chance it's not what I'm looking at. There's just a little bit of issues with some stuff during qualifying as far as timing and scoring goes. And as we roll on pole today, we have number 36 of Mike Lawrence. Following him will be the 80 of Stephen Davis, followed by Mitchell Ferguson, Donnie Isley, Chris Frazziti, Jack Herberger, Steve Eaton, Bob Frazziti, Rich Gayette, we got Jeff, Kim Cashmere, Maggie Talley, John Ferreira, Keith Lawrence, and let's see who else. I feel like I'm missing a couple here. Let's see, Hugh Maloney, Keith Lawrence, and Matthew Bruns rounding out the pack here to start. Into turn 2, as long as everything goes well and everybody likes what they're seeing, this should just be this one pace lap, and we will get right into the action. The scheduled time for this race, I believe, is a half hour, so it'll be a little bit less than 30 minutes of racing once we go green this afternoon. And let's see real quick before we get right into it. While we're sitting here, may as well give a rundown to our wonderful sponsors that we have on board for this year. Coming back, of course, I know we have our automotive safety consultants, Mr. Caruso, behind that. We really appreciate that effort. A couple others that we have on board this year are Pegasus Auto Racing Supplies, Indocile Art, they helped out with our graphics. They did a wonderful job. Noble Engines, Mitchell Motors, 10V Racing, Quixote Racing, Velo Stack, VDCA, the folks we are here with this weekend, and a couple more to round it out. Caracal and AutoWorks Engines are the sponsors on board this year. And again, big thanks to them, especially again, big thanks to the VDC. The best guests possible, and we appreciate their hospitality. As the field is working their way around, shouldn't be much longer before we see them coming out of 9 back onto the front straight, where, as I mentioned, as long as everything looks good, we are going to see the green with just a single pace lap. And I see the pace car coming through 8, and it looks like the pace car is, in fact, coming down at pit lane, so that means we are going to see green this time by. Here, any moment now, Mike Lawrence, Stephen Davis, and we are green on the 2025 Driverz wide across the track everywhere. It looks hairy, but these Driverz Cup drivers, they're no stranger to all the activity. And through turn 1, looking clean. Got a nice gaggle of cars working their way into turn 2 right now. As they come out of 2 into 3, we'll see if I can't get an eye on who is leading the race. Looks like the black car, number 36 of Mike Lawrence, is still going to be out front. And then it is not. It's actually Mitchell Ferguson jumped to the lead. Sherman Engler in second. Michael goes to third. And Stephen Davis back to fourth as they work their way through turns 4 and 5. The rest of the field following them, not too far behind yet before things fan out. As I can see the field making their way through 6 and diving into 7 now. Clean first lap, no issues as far as I can see. And I'm confident they could keep it that way the rest of this opening lap. So they're going to be working their way through 7 out of 7 into 8 any moment now. And as they make their way in through 9, we're going to be able to see them coming here center frame right back onto the front straight to complete the first lap of the 2025 Driver's Cup season. Out front, Mitchell Ferguson, Sherman in the draft, and Mike Lawrence in third. 3 wide pops out. Donnie Isley, Stephen Davis, 4th, 5th. 3 wide across the line with a few more folks fighting for 10th. Keith Lawrence and Matt Bruns rounding out the pack on this first lap of the Driver's Cup season. Got the front of the pack working their way into turn 2, coming out of it now. Working their way toward turn 3, single file at the moment. Looks like we have Engler out front, Lawrence second, Ferguson third, Davis 4th, and Isley rounding out the top 5. They are working their way right now through turns 4 and 5, coming into 6. That's a fun little turn. It kind of decreases on you, and you just got to slow up just a little bit to make that one and set yourself up for turn number 7 in these Formula Vs. And let's take a look if I can't see what we got going through the field right now. Outside of the top 5, it looks like we have the 191 of Steve Eaton, followed by Frizzetti, Topolchi, another Frizzetti, and Guyette rounding out the top 10. But we do have our drivers back. We also have Isley making the pass on Davis for 4th. Steve in 6th, Chris in 7th, Jeff, Bob, Rich rounding out the top 10. Side by side, we have Keith and Hugh for, that would have been 13th, 14th place. On the turns, looks like 6 into 7 currently. They will be back out on the front stretch in just a few moments. That means, in the meantime, let me just take a look through the field. And it looks like we currently have 16 cars running in the race still. 16 is currently running 4th, but it looks like he might be trying to make some moves here. Ferguson, Lawrence, Engler 3 wide across the start finish into turn 1. Isley in 4th trying to make it happen, and Davis rounding out 5th still. Steve and Chris side by side. Bob and Jeff side by side. Maggie and Rich side by side. Virtually everybody side by side as the field comes by here. Let's see where we can pick up the race. Front of the pack, and we do have a full course caution currently, so that will get the field bunched up and under control here while we sort things out. Got a car off in turn 6 is what I'm being told by race control, so hopefully everything is fine over there. We'll get the vehicles rolling, if necessary, check on any of the drivers involved, and get back to racing hopefully as soon as possible. Pace car just rolled, and he will be picking up the field as they come back around. And it looks like we have our vehicles driving themselves right through the turn 6-7 complex at the moment, if you will. Which means they'll be coming momentarily to be picked up by the pace car while we get things cleaned up here. So there they are. Isley, Ferguson, and Davis are going to be the top 5 locked in as we sit. Next group of drivers coming up, we have Chris, Steve, Jeff, Bob, Rich, rounding out that group for the top 10. Maggie, Kim, John, Keith, Matt, and Hugh rounding out the rest of them. By my math, that was all 16 cars, I believe. Just trying to see what we've got going on here. So, by the sounds of it, looks like they're dropping their white flags that would indicate a slow-moving vehicle on the track and just going to be holding the yellow out at this point. The pace car is currently leading the field out of 3 into 4, and as long as everybody's doing what they should be, things should be still running as I just ran down through the field. So, in this little brief moment, let's see. Wasn't planning on filling the air this much downtime. We usually have a great group of folks that almost never have issues, and Harry was jinxing it, thinking that we were going to get a round of issues. We'd go without issues, but it's okay. Alright, let's see. And I am getting some messages here saying that we may be getting less than optimal video quality just on this stream, and I do apologize if that is in fact the case. We do have just somewhat limited internet out here, no 5G out here at Roebling Road Raceway, so we're just working off of just a couple bars of 4G LTE, so somewhat limited we can work with as far as the quality goes of the stream. It's definitely something to look into the future on how we can improve that. But looks like the field is coming back around down the front straightaway right now. Gonna do at least one more lap behind the pace car. Driver's just kind of meandering, spreading out, doing what they want to right now. Whenever it happens that the lights go out on the pace car, they will group back up, and it will be a single file restart, unlike the 2x2x2 method we do to start our races. And as far as I can tell, I think we have the whole field gathered back up, and if that is the case, that means we should see those yellow flags dropped and be ready to go back green. We're not dealing with too much stutter or distortion of the picture quality. Alright, hearing chatter from race control, it sounds like the plan is green and they're getting the track cleared. And looks like there is our one car that would apparently have had the issue is now making their way down pit lane. I cannot see who it is yet. As soon as I can tell, I will let you know, but it certainly appears they are A-OK as they are still able to drive off under their own power here. And that looks like... Is that the 0 of Jack Herberger, possibly? Looks like got some folks jumping out there to assist with whatever that driver may need at the moment, but I see the rollback making its way back through the paddock as well. So, sounds like lights are going to be going off on the pace car as well, which means we are going to go back to green here. We have 15 minutes to the end of this session, so that should give us at least a few more green flag laps of action to finish out the first race of the 2025 Driverz Cup season. The field is currently making their way out of 6 into turn 7, leaving just 2 more turns to navigate before they make it back to the front straight, where I expect to see it go green, as the starter does have that green flag in his hand. Nothing yet, and there is the pace car in the distance, making their way down pit lane. The field behind them coming into 9. They will group up a little bit, hopefully, and hopefully they'll give us a good start here. Single file, green is in the air, and we are back at it here at Roebling Road for round 1. Engler out front, Isley, Lawrence side by side across the line. Ferguson 4th, and see who we got here. There it is. That is the field. Going into turn 1, fanning out 3 wide, a couple spots throughout the field, and making their way into turn 2 now as we speak. Coming back off pit lane currently is the 0. That was Jack Herberger that was having some issues, but it looks like he's back underway. And leading the field into turn 3 currently out front, it looks like, I think that is Isley out front, Engler in 2nd, and Lawrence in 3rd, I believe. Leading them right now through turns 4 into 5. And now into 6. Going to remain that same top 3 of Isley, Engler. And it looks like Ferguson made the pass on Lawrence for 3rd, so that puts Lawrence back to 4th, and Davis to 5th. The rest of the field has now made its way, with the exception of the one car that had some trouble, has made their way into turn 7. So we should be seeing the front of the pack make its way back out of 9 any second now, and here they come. Right back on the front straightaway, we're going to have this front group of, looks like 5 cars have started to break away. They break out 3 wide. Isley, Engler, Ferguson, Lawrence, Davis, and Eaton. We have Jeff and Chris coming up. We got Bob, Rich, Maggie. They come by fast. Hugh coming up there in the number 56, and that leaves the 0 of Jack Herberger coming out of turn right now. However, the front of the field is making their way through turn 2 currently into 3, fanning out 2 wide for a second. Looks like they thought about it, and Lawrence had tried to make a move on Ferguson into 2 and 3. Did not work. That puts Engler 3rd, Isley 4th, Davis 5th. Running up next, shortly behind them, should be Steve, Chris, and lead the field out of 6 currently. And we have a few other drivers navigating themselves through there now. And everything else is looking good and clear at the moment. Just about 10 minutes left in this session. Imagine that'd be good for at least 3 or 4 more laps before we see the end of this race. But the field is coming back around here out of turn 9 onto the front straight, and it looks like the camera is not happy. So I think you can still hear me working through a little issue. The battery on the camera decided it had enough, so we'll get a fresh one in here and get the picture back up in a second. Run through the field as they just came across the line. Lawrence out front, Ferguson 2nd, Engler 3rd, Isley 4th, Davis 5th. One of the Frizzettis 6th, Eaton 7th, Topolchi 8th, Guyette 9th, Cashmere 10th, Talley 11th, Bruns 12th, Ferreira 13th, Lawrence 14th, the other Frizzetti is 15th, and then 16th is Maloney, rounding it out 17th with Herberger. We are just a few moments away from getting power back to the camera and the picture back up there for you guys. Looks like this battery should have enough just to get us to the end of the race. Field is coming back down across the start-finish line. Engler up front, and Davis with the pass from the 3rd position as they go 2 wide across the start-finish line. A few stragglers behind them. And it looks like all right, camera hopefully should be coming back online momentarily. And it's trying. It's trying. Alright. Camera is not going to come back up online, and I apologize for that. Trying to work through it here. If I have to, we'll just go radio style for the remainder of this race. So as I fumble about here with a dead camera that's now trying to get back online. Looks like we're down to just a few minutes left in this session. Just a couple laps probably until we have the white flag thrown on the field. And our leaders are coming back down the front right now. And we are 2 wide, almost 3 wide. Ferguson and Davis side by side. Lawrence third, Isley fourth, and Engler in fifth, leading the front pack. The next 2-car little group we got here is going to be Chris and Steve. And then we got a gaggle of about 6 more cars behind them as they come by the line. Let's see if I can't. All right, bear with me as I try to make this camera work again. We are struggling with this. Let's see here. All right, and it sounds like we're going to have the white flag next time by as that lead pack comes around. They are currently working themselves, I believe, through turn 7 at the moment, which means they'll be popping out on the front straight any moment. And we may or may not get this camera back up before the end of that. But in any case, if not, I do appreciate you folks tuning in for the broadcast today. And they are coming down the front straight right now, and it is not wanting to cooperate. So we have them popping out. It is Davis, Ferguson, Lawrence 3 wide across the start finish line. Engler 4th, and the Isley in 5th. And let's see. Oh, it looks like we might have the camera back. So Chris 6th, Steve 7th, and a few more drivers coming by. And I think we lost our camera again. So we're just not going to try to fix it with less than a lap to go here. I will stick with you on the mic for the remainder of this lap. It looks like we have Lawrence out front going into turn 4, followed by Ferguson and Davis in 3rd. Cannot see 4th, 5th at the moment. That's okay as the field comes out of turn 4 at 5. In the 6th, still led by Lawrence. 2nd place, I believe it's Ferguson, Davis still. That puts 4th place Engler, 5th place can be Isley, fell back just a little bit somewhere there through the S's. The front pack is currently working their way through turns 7 into 8 in just a moment. Right after 8 leads them almost immediately into 9 and then onto the front stretch. So we'll have the conclusion of this race. Unfortunately blind, but working with what I can at the moment. Here they come onto the front straight. We got them breaking out 2 wide currently at the moment. Side by side, Lawrence 3 wide. Ferguson, Lawrence, Davis. It looks like Davis is going to take the lead right at the last second to win the first Driverz Cup season, leaving our 2nd place to be Ferguson, Lawrence in 3rd. 4th place Engler, and 5th place goes to Isley. 6th place to Chris. 7th place to Steve as they come across the line. And our next driver is coming by, Kim Cashmere, Rich Guyette, Matt Bruns, John Ferreira, Maggie Talley, 12th, Jeff 13th, Keith 14th, and the other Frazzetti comes 15th, and then that is going to leave Hugh Maloney and Jack Herberger to round us out here for the end of round 1. Again, I apologize for the technical difficulties on our end. We will be back tomorrow according to the schedule before lunchtime. That race is tomorrow. I want to say 10:30 in the morning, we'll be back here again, and hopefully things will go better. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. That's all I have for now. Thank you so